Hi friends, welcome to episode number 2 of our intercompany orders series. In this episode, we will discuss in detail about the two-legged intercompany order chain in Microsoft Dynamics 365 Finance and Operation. Make sure that you watch episode number 1 before coming into episode number 2. With that note, let's quickly jump into today's topic. So let's quickly get into today's topic of intercompany orders episode number 2. We already discussed about the agenda for this series of videos related to intercompany orders, and we also discussed about what is the fundamental definition for intercompany orders, why we need to go for intercompany orders, and also the basic process flow as far as the intercompany orders are concerned, and the latest setups and the configurations for the trade relationships and the need for having the product in both the legal entities, and how we can sync some of the important pricing and discount informations with respect to intercompany orders. Make sure that you watch the episode number 1 before getting into episode number 2. So in today's episode, we will try to understand about the two-legged chain process. So first of all, what is a two-leg chain process? When company A creates a purchase order and the vendor is company B, an intercompany sales order is created automatically in company B. The two-legged order chain consists of a purchase order in company A and an intercompany sales order in company B. For example, let's say the company A is USMF and company B is DEMF. So whenever you create a purchase order in DEMF, it creates an intercompany sales order in USMF automatically. Similarly, the other scenario is if you create a sales order in USMF and you have the trading relationship which we have configured in the episode number 1, then an intercompany purchase order is created in DEMF automatically. So this is basically a two-leg chain where that we have a chain between the two orders in the system. The sales order is in legal entity USMF and the purchase order is in the legal entity DEMF. So and the material, whatever the legal entities want to have the transaction, you need to ensure that the product is available both in USMF and also in DEMF. So for the purpose of this demo, what I will do is I just want to use the demo data, and also before getting the next slide, I also want to highlight the pricing information on the intercompany sales order and intercompany purchase order is controlled by the internal sales or transferring price. So we will also quickly see as part of this video how the pricing information flows from the trade agreements if it is configured in the demo data. And for this demo, what we are going to do is the legal entity DEMF. Let's say this is the use case which we are going to see right now, which the DEMF is actually sells speakers to external customers but has no stocks. For example, DEMF is selling speakers to the external customers, maybe retailers or some wholesalers, but they don't have stock. But the DMF buys speakers from USMF. So what DMF does is it is not manufacturing the speakers, and the same time it is having a buying relationship with the legal entity USMF. The USMF is within the Qantas Entertainment Group, so with which it has went into an agreement to buy the speakers through the intercompany orders. The legal entity USMF sells speakers only to legal entity DEMF. Let's say USMF is not selling directly to the customers or not into the trading in Germany. So whenever any speakers are sold in Germany, it is always sold through DEMF. So it is not directly selling it to the customers. So let's assume those are the two. Let's have those are the two assumptions which we have before getting into the Dynamics 365 screen. So what we will do is we will first create a purchase order in DEMF, so which will result in creation of the intercompany sales order in USMF, which is a two-legged chain. So let me quickly get into Dynamics 365 screen. Right now you can see I am in one tab I have the legal entity USMF, in another tab I have opened the legal entity DEMF. So as per the slide, what we are going to do is we will create a purchase order in the legal entity DEMF for the customer account US001. So I am in legal entity DEMF. Let me go to procurement and sourcing module. We already saw the configuration, how to do the configuration in order to establish this trading relationship in episode number 1. So if you have done that configuration, then it should be fine. Let me click on new. Then let me select so this is the vendor account US001. So if I go back to the slide, vendor US-001 is actually the vendor USMF, which is configured as a vendor account in DEMF. Similarly, DE-001 is the customer account, which is for DEMF, which is configured in USMF. So we are creating a purchase order for USMF by using the account US-001, right? So let me go back. So now you can see intercompany is automatically enabled, and let me click on OK. So once if we click on OK, it automatically creates the intercompany sales order in the other legal entity USMF. So if I go to the action center on the top, you can see that intercompany sales order has been created. And you can also see the reference is DEMF 00012. It is because of the configuration. If you remember in the other legal entity, let me open that. So if we go to the accounts payable, you can also go from the procurement sourcing module, all vendors. Then so in this case, sorry, we are in USMF, so we need to open the customer account, right? Let me go to accounts receivables, then customers, all customers, DE-001. So this is the customer account. Let me go to general, then intercompany. So in this case, actually what we have done is the configuration which we chose was company plus original number. And that's the reason if you check the notification that the company is DEMF and the reference is actually 00012. 0012 is the purchase order number and the company is DEMF. So by clearly looking at the order ID, we will be able to know whether it is an intercompany order or not. So this is the first most important thing. So that's the reason we have just configured as company plus original number, right? So it has taken the original number of the purchase order and it also prefixed itself with the company DEMF. So now we have created a purchase order. Let me add an item number. Let me add the mid-range speaker. So let's say this is the speaker which the DEMF is buying from the legal entity USMF. So we are creating the line. Then let's say by default the quantity is taken 2 and the unit price is $330. This unit price is primarily fetched from the item master. If I click on the item, let me go to the item. First, let's try to understand if there is any trade agreement is configured, because we are purely working using the demo data. Let me click on view trade agreement. So there is one trade agreement which we have, which is actually you can see the amount is $330. So that's the reason system has picked $330 for this particular transaction. So that is fine. Let me go back and close the transaction. And the quantity is taken as 2. Even in that case, even if you want, you can change the quantity. Let me say let me change the quantity as 2, because by default the order quantity must be multiple of 2. Do you want to round up? So that is fine. This also comes from the default order settings. If you go to the item number, let me also show you where this is primarily configured, because some cases you can configure the minimum order quantity. If you go to plan and then click on default order settings, so and here you can see the multiple should be 2. If it is in site 1, the multiple should be 2. So that's the reason our system is actually throwing a prompt saying, do you want to modify it to 2 or not? So let me keep it as 2. So that is fine. So this purchase order is not yet confirmed but approved. So let me go ahead and confirm this purchase order. So in the another tab, I will also show you how this behavior is affecting the intercompany sales order. So that's where we have given the provision for syncing of information between the intercompany purchase order and the sales order. And so let this purchase order be confirmed. In another tab, what I will do is we are in the legal entity USMF. So what I will do is let me go to the orders, all sales orders, and we will be able to see quickly. You can clearly identify it, right? So these are the other sales orders with respect to with respect to your customers, but this is intercompany sales order, and that's the reason you have a prefix DEMF and 00012. And here also you will be able to view the same item with the quantity 2 and the unit price is $330. dollars. But in this case, you can see the warehouse is 113, but this is also primarily picked from the default order settings. If you go to the item, so these are actually configurable from the default order settings. And even if you go to plan default order settings, because actually the purchase order was created in the legal entity DEMF for the warehouse 111, but in this case the sales order has actually picked the default site and warehouses 1 and 13. Even if you want, you can change the warehouse and site based on your business requirements. So that's why we can see the warehouses 1 and 13 in case of the sales order, right? So this is fine. And you can also sync some of the information like delivery information, the requested ship date and the delivery date. Let's say if this is actually being controlled from the purchase order. If I go to the purchase order, then if I go to delivery, then let me change the requested receipt date from 15 Jan to 30th Jan. Then let me save this. So I have just saved this order. Let me go to the, right now I am in DEMF. You can see in the DEMF in the purchase order, I have changed the delivery requested receipt date. So let me go to USMF. Now I am in USMF and I am in the sales order DEMF. So let me go and refresh the page. So you can see the requested ship date is also modified accordingly. So in the sales order, we are not allowed to change the requested ship date and the receipt date, because based on the purchase order, the intercompany purchase order which we have, based on which the update is modified over here, right? So this is the requested ship date for us by default. Let's say now USMF confirms their requested ship date is let's say it's 1st Jan 2025. Then let me save this. So USMF confirms their requested ship date as January 1st 2025. Let me go to the purchase order. Then let me go to general. I think in the header also we should be able to view the dates. Let me refresh this page. So you can see the earliest confirmed receipt date is 1/1/2025. Great. And even in the delivery section, you can see the confirmed receipt date is 1/1/2025. So this primarily shows the earliest receipt date if you have multiple order lines. So in a way, so whatever the changes you make in the purchase order, the same reflects in your intercompany sales order also. Let's say if I go and modify the quantity as 4, and then let me save this purchase order. And then once the purchase order is saved, let me go to the intercompany sales order. In the other tab, we are in USMF, and this is the sales order ID. Let me refresh this page, and you can see the quantity is updated. So in a way, this is what we call it as a chain, because whatever the changes you make in the intercompany purchase order, those changes will be reflected back in your intercompany purchase order sales orders also. So both the sales orders and the purchase order are interlinked to each other. And you can also check in the delivery section if it is a direct delivery, but primarily direct delivery is something which we will discuss in the next episode, not in this episode. We will discuss in detail about that. And even if you go to sourcing, you will be able to understand how whether the delivery is of stock or direct delivery. In case of direct delivery, you need to provide an external vendor, so you need to provide the configuration accordingly. But we already discussed about the direct delivery process, the general process, but not with respect to intercompany orders when we discussed during the procurement and sourcing module. But in the next episode, we will discuss about the direct delivery in detail along with the intercompany chain. Right. So let me go to the other tab. We are in DMF. Let me confirm the purchase order. So the moment the purchase order is confirmed, we have the purchase order created in the legal entity DM of 00012, and an equivalent sales order is available in the legal entity USMF, which are kind of interlinked to each other. So let me go back to the slide. So this is what we have created: a purchase order in DEMF, which created an equivalent intercompany sales order in the legal entity USMF. So now what we will do is, first of all, since we created the purchase order, which resulted in the creation of intercompany sales order, right? So now the intercompany sales order, in the intercompany sales order, USMF need to complete the packing slip posting. So this means that the USMF need to deliver the material, and then we need to receive the material in DMF, right? So first the delivery the packing slip need to be posted in IC in the intercompany sales order in USMF, based on which we need to complete the product receipt in the purchase order in DMF. Then intercompany sales order, we need to complete the invoicing, based on which we need to complete the invoicing in the purchase order of DEMF. So this will be the process. So we cannot post the product receipt first. First we need to post the packing slip so that the material is delivered, dispatched to DMF, and then based on which in the DMF they can complete the product receipt. So first in the USMF, let's go back to the slide. Sorry, go back to the system. First in the USMF, what we will do is we will quickly go to pick and pack. Then we will post the packing slip. But before that, let me check if the stock is available for this item, because we just quickly added the item. I'm not sure whether the stock is available. Let me go for reservation. Okay, I think we have physical inventory. Let me quickly reserve for quantity, and then let me go back. Then what I will do is I'll complete the posting of packing slip. So the moment I post the packing slip, the status will change from open order to delivered. So let me change the parameters from picked to all. Then this is fine. We already reserved the material. Let me click on OK. I don't want to print the receipt, so let me click on OK. So this will post the packing slip. Once the packing slip is posted, then you can see the status is changed from open order to delivered, right? So because there are only 4 quantity in the which is in the sales order line. Let me go to purchase order, the DEMF. So now in the DEMF, we are going to process the product receipt. Now if I refresh this page, you can see that it's actually in the status of approved because we have not yet confirmed. So let me go to confirm, because we have made some changes in the quantity, so accordingly it has to be confirmed. So that's the reason the status got changed. So the quantity is 4 and now it is confirmed. Let me go to receive, and then let me go to product receipt. So if I go to product receipt, immediately in the product receipt number, we can see that the receipt number is automatically populated the respective packing slip ID. The other tab, let me go to the packing slip journal. We are in USMF where we created the sales order, right, and posted the packing slip also. So here you can see the packing slip ID is taken as a reference in case of posting the purchase order in DEM of 1977. The other tab, let me show you. So this is the same reference which we have, right? So by default, if you want, you can use the same product receipt ID if you want, or else you can also modify this. Let's say today's date is 31/12/24, and if you want to change the product receipt number, you can do that, but you cannot do the same thing in case of invoicing. So let me click on OK. You don't need to go for any registration. You can directly complete the product receipt process. So in the product receipt, when you are posting for intercompany orders, you are allowed to change the product receipt number based on your process requirements. But in case of when you are posting the invoice, right now you can see the product receipt is successfully posted, and you can also see the references whatever we have typed in the product receipt posting page. But let me quickly show you. If I go to packings, the others tab, we are in USMF. So first we posted the packing slip. Now we need to invoice this sales order. So let me also show you in the slide. So in the sales order, first we have posted the packing slip, and we posted the product receipt in DEMF. And even though we have changed the reference, the system allowed us to post the product receipt. And right now we are going to post the invoice in the intercompany sales order in USMF. So let me go to invoice, generate invoice, and then so this is already packing slip posted, and by default we are taking the quantity from the packing slip. So I'll directly post the packing slip, post the invoice based on the packing slip quantity. So once the invoice is posted, then this time also when we create a invoice in the purchase order, you can see the status is changed to invoice, right? So let me go to, so in USMF we have invoiced the item. So in USMF we have posted the packing slip and we have invoiced the item also. But in DMF we have just completed the product receipt, but we need to complete the invoicing. So if I go to DMF, I am in DMF. Let me go back and let me go to invoice and then click on invoice. So moment I generate the invoice, system automatically picks the invoice ID reference from the intercompany sales order. So in this case, you can see in the USM of, if I go to invoice and journals, the invoice journal ID with which it is posted, which is CIV-716, this ID will be picked automatically in case of the purchase order. You can see here this ID is automatically picked. But let's say if I change this ID to 717 and then let me try to post this, system will not allow you to post the intercompany sales or purchase order invoice, because that the system has to match with the intercompany sales order. You can see that you are using CIV as intercompany purchase order invoice ID. This does not match with the exact invoice ID for your corresponding intercompany sales order, right? So which is very, very important. So you cannot change your invoice ID and it has to match. So let me go to the pending invoices. Then let me delete this invoice, or if you want, you can modify the invoice. Let me go back. Let me change to 716. I think 716 is the ID. Let me change the invoice ID and let me again post this. So this is where the concept of two-leg chain comes into picture, where even though you are posting the invoice, the sales invoice, and then once the sales invoice is posted, now you can see the invoice processing process completed. You need to make sure that you have the same invoice ID. So now the invoice journal is generated. So the invoice ID is used whenever you're posting the intercompany purchase orders also. So that's how you will be able to complete the two-legged intercompany chain. So right, let me go back to the slide. So what we did is we created a purchase order in DEMF, which resulted in creating automatic creation of intercompany sales order in USMF. And then USMF, we completed the product receipt posting, sorry, the packing slip posting. And then we came to the DEMF, where we kind of even though we had the same reference of the packing slip, but we modified, the system allowed us to modify the packing slip reference and complete the product receipt. And then in USMF we invoiced the material, and then using the same reference we need to complete the purchase invoice in DEMF also. And then DMF is allowed to use the material for trading or selling to the customers. The DMF that can proceed for selling the speakers, whichever it has brought from the force quantity of speakers it has brought from USMF, right? So let me also show you, it's not necessary that you need to shuttle between the multiple tabs, but in the case of intercompany orders, the system is smart enough to guide you in terms of, let me go to general tab. Let's say you are in the legal entity DMF. If you go to general tab, you can click on related information, related orders. System will give you the information of the related intercompany sales orders. This is in case this is displayed only in case of the original orders, which we will see as we progress in the series, as we create the direct delivery orders. And here you will have the document reference, the same kind of information. Even if you go to manage on the action pane, you can under the intercompany tracing section, you can view the intercompany sales order and also the invoice journal and the packing slip journals. So whatever is posted in case of the intercompany sales orders. So even if I go click on intercompany sales order, you can see the company information is modified, will be modified here. You can see it is now changed to USMF. And even in USMF, if you on the action pane, if you go to manage again, here you will be having the option to view the intercompany purchase order. So whichever is relevant you will be able to view, and whichever is not relevant will be grayed out. So here you can view the intercompany purchase order. Similarly, if you go to general section under the related information, you can view the related orders, where the system will show you the intercompany purchase order and along with what is the status and which company it belongs to. So at any point in time, system is smart enough to tell you the information throughout the chain, because we just saw a two-leg chain, but in case of a multi-leg chain, you may have multiple intercompany orders related to each other, and also you may have a direct delivery order, and all those informations will be available in the related order section, right? So make sure that you are trying this out, because just simply watching this video will not help you to recognize the process, but I will strongly recommend you to try this out in your demo environment. That's the reason I've just picked the demo item number with the demo legal entity, so that it is easy for you to replicate in your demo environment. right? So with that, let me go back to the slide. Um, so with that, we are coming to the end of this episode. We will catch you soon in the next episode number 3, where we will discuss in detail about the 3-leg chain and the process related to it. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel D365 Talks or follow my profile in LinkedIn. Thank you.